What up guys, Jimbo here, and we are bringing you our first impressions of Titanfall from the client that we played at the London event last week. Now, if you haven't been aware, over the past week or two, well, week and a half, EA and Respawn have been putting events on all over the world. They've been to LA, to London, to Munich, where they've invited YouTubers and fan site owners like myself and Titanfall Gamer, and get to play the game and tell us what you think. So basically what we're going to do is our first impressions. The footage you're watching is of the training area that you do when you first get into the game. Gets you accustomed to the wall running, the double jumping, the Titans, everything like that. So we're going to head on and we're going to first talk about the gameplay. The one thing I like about the Titanfall gameplay is that it's actually evolved a little bit from general shooters that we've been playing in the past, the Call of Duties, the Battlefields and everything like that. Whereas Call of Duty was all on one field of one plane, shall we say, and Battlefield was on the infantry plane, then you had your aerial plane and stuff like that. Titanfall mixes both of them, in my opinion, so that you get a full 3D range of combat. There is basically nowhere that you can't go. I mean, with the double jump and the wall runnings, you can get onto the rooftops no problem. If you've watched our podcast, we spoke about how it's nice to be able to get around snipers by just running up a wall and mantling through a window. Now that is what I really like about this game, the ability to move around, and that transition between running on the ground to being on a building rooftop is completely different from anything that we've played recently. You've got the games like Mirror's Edge and everything like that, which focus on wall running and stuff like that, but and parkouring. But this is a nice transition. It does it really well. We only got to play the Atlas Titan. The Strider and the Ogre wasn't in this build, and going from pilot to Titan was a nice transition. You called your Titan in, it came in, and you could either set it on guard mode. There's a lot of times where I actually just placed it on guard mode or follow mode and ran around as the pilot instead of jumping in the Titan, because I knew that I could get onto the top of a building and you could shoot down with your anti-Titan weaponry, or you could just sit on the top of the building and try and chip away at the enemy forces below. Not saying that it worked all the time, because somebody could just jump up the building behind you and get you there. It's always keeping you on your toes. You've always got to be aware of what's around you in your environment. Now, the one thing that I will say about movement and stuff like that is where you need to be aware of, like I was saying, what's around you. You also need to realise what you can and cannot use. A double jump is a gap closer. It'll get you from one building to another, or up to a second story window with a mantle. But also with you, incorporated with your wall running, you can get from one place to another really quickly. Where we're saying that this game is more technical than other FPSs, it's a bit of an understatement, because you need to remember that, one, you can't touch the same surface twice if you're double jumping, so you can't double jump, hit the wall, double jump again, so you can't go up. And you also need to be aware that if you do a short double jump, then it's only going to get you a little bit further, but if you prolong that double jump, then it's going to get you that much further. The amount of times where I try and get from one point to another and completely fluff up the jump and then try and recover it only to fluff it up some more is just insane. You really need to think sometimes when you have a look. It does get second nature coming on when I was playing on the Xbox, because I played both on the PC and the Xbox. Unfortunately, my Xbox footage didn't record, but when I was playing on that, it was a little bit more fluid than what I was like when I just started on the PC. It's good in that respect, that it's fluid and everything like that, but if you fluff it up, it is like hitting a brick wall and it'll stop your momentum solid. Going on with this 6v6 that people are saying about, well, people were complaining about when it got announced. The 6v6 is a nice size map. With the way that they've made the map and the way that there's constantly AI spawns and grunt spawns and spectre spawns and everything like that, you've always got something to shoot. You can run around a corner, take out the enemy grunts and then run around another corner and take out a pilot or get shot by Titan or anything like that. So the balance is quite nice between players, Titans and the AI. With the maps and modes, or well, the game modes, there was only 3 game modes. There was the attrition, the hardpoint, and also the Titan only mode, the last Titan standing. Basically, a quick recap on the different game modes. You've got your hardpoint, which is your domination type game where you've got to capture the points. You've got your attrition, which is like the story campaign kind of mission, where you have a story to go through in that mission and such like that, and then you've got your usual extractions at the end if you for the winners or the losers, and then you got your Titan only, which basically is your whole team drops in Titans and the last Titan to survive wins. Now there's a bit of a difference on these well, than what you would think, but because with the Titans, the pilot can actually jump out the Titan, and you can put the Titan on follow mode, so then you can fight with your Titan and fight with your anti-Titan weapon as well. Also, if your Titan dies and you're not in it, that isn't you out the game, you're actually in there till the last Titan is standing, so you can still constantly attack with your anti-Titan weapons until you've ran out of ammo, and then you can just go around killing grunts. There was only a few maps. We tried to inquire into how many maps there would be. There was rumour on the internet that there was going to be 16 maps. Now, they haven't actually told us how many maps they are going to be. We've been told that Abby Heppy's, the community manager's favourite map, isn't in the game at the moment for the version that we played anyway. So me personally, I'm thinking there's probably going to be maybe another 4 or 5, I think, to set it to around 8. 16, 12 and 16s I think is too much for a first release of a game. You're going to have your DLCs and stuff later on, which is probably going to be maps and extra weapons and stuff like that, so they've got to give room to have that kind of addition to be put on later. But in the end, 3 map modes and a couple of maps for the client that we tried wasn't too bad. It was really fun. You did have like a best or a pick of the test, which basically looked like it was a random playlist kind of thing. So you didn't just choose attrition, hardpoint, or whatever. You just put yourself in, and it queued you into the next game with the least amount of players kind of thing. So it was pretty good. It was pretty fun. I have to say that Titan only I kind of enjoyed, although you'll see from the video that I'm going to do with it, there is a few things that I personally and a few other people personally think needs sorting. The last thing I'm going to touch on is graphics. There's been a lot of hoo-ha recently over, well, when I say recently, it's been going on for months now, asking if it's going to be 720, 1080, 900, etc, etc. I played on the PC primarily. I did say, like I said, I did do a bit on the console, but my footage didn't record. On the PC, I was running 1080 at 60 frames, using that shadow play thing from Nvidia to record. So that was kind of cool. It looks really nice when you're on the PC, and when I was playing it on the Xbox, it looked really nice as well. It definitely wasn't 720, and I'm kicking myself here because I didn't actually ask if it was 720 or above, but I know it's definitely not 720, and it looked smooth and it ran nice. The only thing that didn't seem right was the text, but that's being fixed with an update that's coming. They're doing a scaler update and also a controller update before the beta comes, apparently. So that's pretty cool. If you're one of these people saying, oh, but I can tell, and no, it definitely, to my eyes, didn't look 30 frames a second. It was 60 frames a second. That's what they want want it to be. They want 60 frames a second, so they're going to get the performance down and then go from there, from what I gathered and from what I overheard. That's what I'm going to cover on that. It looks really nice, and as you can see from the videos you'll see being released, there's not much difference in the two. Granted, the Xbox 360 version wasn't there, so we don't know what the graphics are going to be like for that, but for the Xbox One and the PC, they're pretty nice. That's it for this first impressions, guys. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, please hit the like button, and we have a lot more features coming in the future. We got a fair bit of gameplay to give to you. If you're watching this when the embargo releases, we're going to upload a gameplay in a few hours, and it's just going to be a simple gameplay, so come back and watch that. If you want to see all our videos, then please hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one.